how did we meet?
Well, let's see. Okay, so I met Andrew in high school, and he just came up to me and some of my nerdy friends and said, "What's up? My name's Andrew. Want to be friends?" And then the rest is history. Yeah, I think we started playing a lot of Minecraft together first, right? And then we did some Dungeons and Dragons. Lost contact for a while I was in school in Washington, and then when I was ready to make a change, I came out to Chicago and bada bing, bada boom, as Andrew says. Here we are.
Awesome. I know I was definitely excited to have you move out here, especially after not interacting for so many years. But as one of my oldest friends, I'm really grateful to have you in my life. What are some of your weaknesses or some things that you've had to overcome in the past couple of years?
So for me, something that's been really tough is I discovered very late in my life that I have some learning differences. I have dyslexia and I also have ADHD, and I didn't learn this until I failed my first chemistry test in college. I had like some alternative education growing up. Really, when I left home for the first time, I grew up in California, and when I went to school in Washington State, it was a really big culture shock for me. Having to deal with the more rigorous workload, trying to figure out what I wanted to do career-wise, and then also this discovery of my learning differences and struggling with how I wanted to identify that in my own self. So I actually ended up getting really depressed when I was at school, and I dropped out what would have been my senior year after, a couple changing of my majors and taking a semester off and all that. I feel like there's a lot of pressure put on people from a young age to go to college immediately after high school. And for me, although I wouldn't change anything for the world because I am who I am today because of the experiences that I've had, going to school with a really clear picture of what you want to do is very important in my opinion. Some people can go and figure it out on the fly. I'm actually trying to go back to school soon, and I think having a little bit of experience working and not in a traditional school environment has really helped me come to terms with who I am and what I want to do with my life. So now hopefully I'll have the drive to actually push it all the way through and the confidence to really be myself at school instead of trying to discover all that while getting a degree.
That's really awesome that you still want to push forward with it. I know, I agree, school's not really for everyone, but the fact that you know that this is an issue and you still want to go forward is definitely very cool. So, what are some of your interests and hobbies? What do you do for fun that make you unique?
All right, so this is what I have really been diving into these last few years that we've been living in Chicago. So I've always loved storytelling and games, both video games, board games, field sports, all of the above. I have always just had so much fun with. I really derive a lot of meaning from stories too. Ever since I was little, audiobooks, movies, video games have all really played a really big role in how I live my life. And so when it comes to my hobbies, a lot of my activities are reflected in my interests and passions for storytelling and for games and game design. I have recently been introduced to some tabletop real-time strategy games, turn-based strategy games, such as Warhammer, which has been fun, if not a little bit tedious and long. But I think the painting of the miniatures has been really, really great. My guilty pleasure activity is creating Minecraft mini games. I've played Minecraft ever since I was in a freshman in high school, so it's been probably 10 years of Minecraft now for me. I started playing before the Nether was even around. Yeah, that's something that I really love to do is use that as a really easy format to create fun, competitive multiplayer games in. When it comes to my passions and hobbies now too, I obviously play a lot of video games in my free time. I'm kind of a nature nerd too. I really like natural science, especially zoology, learning about different animals, as well as botany. So I like getting outside going for hikes, backpacking trips, whitewater rafting, and a lot of that is also reflected in the kind of stuff I like to do when I'm in the house as well, which is always kind of stems from this storytelling perspective and learning about why things are the way they are.
What's that thing in the back corner over there?
Oh, so that is my automaton, and I do play a lot of musical instruments. I grew up in my alternative education. I was forced to learn how to play the recorder. I also play stand-up bass guitar, a little bit of guitar, ukulele, kind of all across the board. So yeah, but I must say I've been having a lot of fun with the automaton and doing automaton covers of just the best songs that are out there. Quick plug: if you have not checked out the real Soli G on YouTube, he is a god and a master. Go subscribe to him right now. The real Soli G got me into automaton playing as the most superior musical instrument. It's a good way to get people out of bed in the morning. So
whether they want to or not.
That's true. Sometimes you need. I know. I definitely need that sometimes. Yeah. Fortunately, my cat provides that for me. He wakes me up every morning.
Yes.
By sitting on my face, pretty much. So.
What's your future goals moving forward?
Yeah, so I have decided to go back to school for game design and development. I'm actually creating my own indie game studio called Salt Song Studios. I'll be doing a lot of media outreach over the course of the next couple months, and hopefully having some fun activities with you and your awesome community. I'm going to be creating, starting with 2D indie games. Most of them have some sort of social awareness component to them or some sort of educational purpose to them. Long-term goals, I really want to get into video games for education to make school more fun and interactive. Yeah, I have a little bit of background working in the public school system in Chicago, and combine that with my kind of weird alternative education. I really feel like there's some revitalization that needs to happen in our school system here in the United States. And I'm hoping that we can use technology and the power of video games and the feedback loops that exist there to help kids learn faster and in more enjoyable ways.
As somebody that does have some learning disabilities, is there anything that you want other people to know or anything that you can say to them?
I actually think that this advice goes for everyone, regardless of if you have learning differences or you're more neurally normal. The important thing to keep in mind is that everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses, right? And your strengths are always going to come easy to you, but your weaknesses, you're always going to struggle with. So instead of trying to just beat your head against the wall and do the things that you struggle at the same way everybody else does it, try to find ways that you can create shortcuts or like crutches for yourself to help you get those things done. Because speaking personally from personal experience, it is really hard for me to do paperwork. Just paperwork, reading essays, writing like scholarly essays, doing my taxes, all of those sorts of things are really difficult for me to do. Same with like remembering special events or keeping an organized calendar. So the way how I try to keep myself accountable for that is I have like a couple apps on my phone that are like gamify life apps. Habitica is the one that I use the most. I try to check that every day. I also use my reminders a lot. So instead of just putting something on my calendar and forgetting about it, the second I learn that I need to do something, I'll try to set a reminder for myself so that even though I will almost definitely forget, my phone won't, which is great. So whether you have learning differences or you are just someone who struggles to do certain things, it is really important to try to find alternative ways of getting around the same thing, because it's really easy to run away from the things that are hard, but usually the things that are hard are also important. And if you run away from them, then it'll detriment your life a lot more than if you try to take them on in a smart way.
I agree. Well, Bud, thank you so much for taking the time to let me interview you here, and I'm excited to see what we're going to accomplish over the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this will be really fun to look back on in a few years and just see see the differences.
Yeah, considering how much has changed in the last 10 years of our life, I think this will be pretty important to at least have a record of. But cool. Thanks, dude. Have a good rest of your day.
Woots woots.